Now we're going to take a look at commissions. So the idea is exactly like sales tax. It's just what we're doing with this number is different. So here, the commission rate is the percentage of total sales that a person is going to get added to whatever other money they make. A lot of people will make like a base salary or base hourly wage and then get commissions added to that based on what they sell, i.e. car salesman. So a salesperson at a car dealership sold a car for $18,000. If she received $1,260 in commission, what is her commission rate? It's not bad. So this is asking us this $1,260 is the amount of commission. So if we're going to follow this formula here, the amount of commission equals the unknown commission rate times the total sales, which is the 18,000. So to solve, I'm going to divide both sides by 18,000. $1,260 divided by 0.07. So if I multiply that by 100, I get 7%. So she is getting a 7% commission rate. Now, some insurance offices will also work on commissions. So John works in an insurance office. He makes a weekly salary of $180 plus a 5% commission on insurance policy sales. His salary last week was $642. Shut up, John, you make more than me. Assuming he gets about that every week. What were his sales that week? All right, so we have his total salary. So we need to take the 180 off of that. So 642 minus 180. So 462 is the commission amount. Equals, so we would 5%, we can write it as 5 over 100 or 0.05 of his unknown total sales. So to solve, we're going to divide both sides by ugly fraction here. 5 over 100. Just make sure you use the parentheses. Safe math. You can even throw some around the top number. This is going to be a money amount. So 462 divided by 5 over 100. With lots of parentheses, 9240. So he sold $9,240 worth of insurance policies and got 642. Well, it's a big company. All right, now we've got discount and markup. So these are very similar to what we had before, but here you have to pay attention to what the rate is applied to. So it is always applied to the original price. So we are going to have either a marked up price or a discounted price, the sale price. Usually we end up calling the retail price is the price after it gets marked up because that's how much the retailer, the person who sells it, prices it at. All right, so here we're trying to figure out discount rate. So a tablet is on sale for $399.20. If the regular price is $499, what is the discount rate? So we have the original price. We want to figure out the discount rate. We do not have the amount of discount. We have the sale price instead. So the difference between these two will be the amount of discount. So our first step is to do 499 minus 399.20. All right, so the discount is 99.80. And we are trying to figure out what percent that is of 499. So we can part over whole, percent over 100, or we could use the amount of discount, the 99.80 equals the discount rate as a decimal times the original 499. Either way works as long as you understand what your answer is. Is the unknown discount rate times 499. So we're just going to divide that over, and then we'll have to multiply by 100 to convert it. Divided by 499 is 0.2 times 100 is 20. So x equals 0.2, which is 20%. So it's 20% off the original price, the regular price. So 20% of $4.99 is $99.80. Now we've got a markup. So an importer marks up the price of a $370 refrigerator by 45% rather. Ugh. They want to know what is the retail price going to be after this markup. So the retail price is the end result. The original price is this 370. So we are going to calculate the 45% of 370, and then we're going to add that result to 370. So 45 over 100, or 0.45 times 370. It's 166.50. And we're going to add 370 to that. So we get $536.50. So that is the retail price. All right, we'll stop it here and then come back.